Hey folks, this week we'll pick up where we left off last week in the Sunshine State of Florida with the boys from Canuck Guns and Taylor Embach from the Gator Quest. If you recall, last week's episode was action-packed, with both Phil and Ben shooting beautiful axis bucks with their Bergara rifles. Those two trophies in the cooler, it was time to do our part to thin out the local hog population. All right, well, it's a nice hog, make some good back straps. Twisted up here. Oh, there it is. We even made time to do a little fishing on the Gulf of Mexico.
Well, I'll speed down. Mickey, look at that.
Then it was off to Lake Okeechobee for some nighttime bow fishing.
There was a big gator right up here. There was a big gator right here a few minutes ago. It looked like it was blowing south of us, but you never know around. Yeah, now.
Ben was first up, and after a few attempts, he was in the fish.
Get him in the boat! Yeah, get him in the boat, baby! Oh yeah, there we go. Now let's take a picture of that.
There you go.
And then it was my turn.
I'm staying out. That's a giant.
Yeah, I couldn't even.
That was a 5-pounder.
I'm gonna knock you off.
Get him? No.
Closed captioning in today's episode is brought to you by Canuck. With the refraction of the light in the water, hitting these fish was more difficult than we had anticipated.
Get him. Oh! Beauty.
So that's the first time I've shot anything in the water with a bow, and to shoot a gar like that, it's a skinny little fish. It's an art form because you got to shoot a foot low. I shot a bunch of shots and missed pretty good fish, and Taylor's been patient. He just keeps saying lower, lower. You got to aim lower.
You got it that time.
Yeah, that was great.
It's spanked a mudfish.
Oh, nice.
There we go.
Nice bowfin, guy. Hey, that's called cypress bass. They're good to eat, but
So that is a bowfish? Is that what you call it?
Bowfin.
A bowfin, oh yeah, okay. That makes sense now. Look at that. Wow. Apparently they will bite you, I was told, so I'm keeping my hands away from his mouth. That is something else. Man, a lot of fun. Like I said, you got to get down here to Florida and try some of these things. It's a sportsman's paradise here.
Target rich environment.
Yeah, target rich environment, that's right. That is awesome.
Hey, Phil, try the light.
Sorry, what?
Let me see that light.
Two of them there. There's another one there. Another alligator. If we were gator hunting, we'd have it made.
That was a great night, but now it's time to get down to the business of finding me a big old swamp lizard.
Come back to your hook.
Like that?
Like this.
Oh, yep.
Back to your hook and over your hook.
I'm going to tell you what, those hooks are sharp. You can see where that'd stick into that leather skin they got.
The next day found us patrolling the banks of the canals that weaved through this big sod farm.
Bail.
There he is there. Right across from you, Anthony.
That's not going to be one Anthony was looking for, right? See his head in those?
Yeah, I see his head out there now.
All right, so it feels like you got a boulder on the end of this thing. He's pulling back. There's no way you'd ever pull this thing up till he's tired out. He's coming.
Yeah, no, you with the kid.
He's coming.
Really fast.
You take a little line and he takes it back.
He hasn't even made his run yet.
No, he's pulling, but he's not making a run.
He's walking on the bottom right now.
You see me?
Oh.
The power of that animal was like nothing I'd ever experienced.
Holy.
Smallest water hole we got. Yep.
Love you, bud.
We would love to have him any other time. First hooking him out now, it's over with.
This segment is brought to you by Excalibur Crossbows. Different for a reason.
Godzilla's big brother.
Back up on. Ready?
So yeah, as you saw, we cut that one off. It was about 11-foot gator. We're not looking for anything that big. That's your breeding stock and stuff. We want to keep those gators here. And but man, that was a fight. You think you got a fight when you catch a fish. That was like nothing I ever felt on the end of a fishing line, that's for sure. So we're looking for something in about 8 to 10, say, range. So we're gonna go back and try a couple other spots here.
and we'll see what we can pull out for you. Right now? Yeah, we're getting a drag or no pull bend on this one.
I'm right behind you, Pete.
Yes, sir. All right, what you got right there? Okay. I got your rope. I got the rope. I'll lay him right in the edge of the water. Ben, are you good?
Get on close.
Boys. And girls. Pull your safety back. There you go. That'll do it. That'll do it. How's that?
Well, I've got an 8-foot gator in the bag and an experience that will last a lifetime.
Coming down right here, it changes full direction right here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we've got our alligator. We hunted with Taylor there in Florida, as you saw. Beautiful animal. And now we're going to join my dear friend Becky Doosling, and she is going to show us some more of her expertise here in the kitchen.
Today I'm going to show you the most beautiful way to cook alligator mixed with some shrimp, and we're going to make the most luxurious macaroni and cheese you've ever had. So we'll get started. This is our gator, and it's been cubed, and I've mixed it with some salt, pepper, a little bit of store-bought Cajun spice, and some garlic powder. So I'm going to put a little bit of butter in the pan and start sauteing that and the shrimp.
So what we've got here is actually tail meat. The most muscular part of the animal, one of his main defenses is to whack you with his tail, but it's also one of the best tasting parts of the alligator too.
It is. It's known as the tenderloin, I guess, like a steak style, and it's broken down into 3 compartments. It's super lean, and it does have to be cooked to 165, similar to that of chicken, so you're not going to be eating this rare. We are going to bake our mac and cheese, so you don't have to worry about it not being cooked, but we're going to start in the pan. We're going to drop our macaroni too. Hopefully I don't overflow it. I'm also going to start cooking our shrimp as well in a separate pan. Now I've done the same thing with the shrimp. I've put the Cajun spice, the garlic powder, salt and pepper. Just going to let that melt up.
This portion of today's episode is brought to you by Bergara. Our barrels make the difference.
Give these a quick stir. As you can see, they're kind of firming up quickly. So these are going to continue to cook once we put it in the dish. So I'm going to take them off the heat here. Also, I've got the oven preheating to put, once our dish is assembled, and we'll put it in there for a few minutes. So I've put it on, I think, 375, 400. Yeah, so this is just our base. Any good base starts with this. And we're going to be generous with our butter. So once our butter is melting, I'm going to drop in This is just some minced up white onion here. We're gonna cook that. I'm also gonna now add some garlic. Just chopped up garlic. It's cooking nicely, and now I'm gonna add in some more spices to build our base. So we're gonna start with this. This is just a little bit of onion powder, and as with all my recipes, we're not really measuring. We're kind of just taking a look, adding some flavor, okay? So you can see what I'm doing here. This is just a regular teaspoon. We're gonna add that. That's onion powder. This is garlic powder. A couple of those. We're also gonna add in some mustard powder. And we're gonna add it while it's cooking to kind of cook that off. This is cayenne pepper. You don't need much, but I recommend just a little bit. And this is just flour. And this is gonna be the start of our sauce. So I'd say maybe that's about half a cup or so. And we're gonna push this around and cook it off. And that's gonna help thicken our sauce. Might add a little bit more. And you wanna cook it so you can smell all those spices. I'm gonna drop a little bit of butter in just to keep that from sticking together. This right here is chicken stock, and I'm gonna add this to our flour mixture, and this is gonna help keep our sauce nice and thin so that it doesn't dry out in the oven. So I'm gonna add this really, really nice and slowly. I'm gonna switch over now to a whisk. If you don't have chicken stock, you can just use milk. It's gonna be okay. This just keeps it nice and thin, but also keeps the flavor instead of something like, say, water. The secret to good mac and cheese is to keep stirring. Keep whisking, get the lumps out to make a nice, smooth, velvety sauce. Anthony, if you wanna grab the milk, I'm using whole milk today. It's 3.25%. Yep. So you just wanna do bit by bit. Just put a little bit in at a time.
This is going to make all the difference between a good mac and cheese and a great mac and cheese. As somebody who's eaten lots of mac and cheese in my life, this is going to make all the difference.
Okay, so it's making some bubbles here. I'm just going to keep slowly adding. Okay, so now we've got our roux going over here, and it's time to incorporate the cheese. So we're going to make sure it's nice and low, and we'll kind of eyeball and see how much we need. This is a nice old cheddar. We've got Gouda and of course Parmesan. So it's gonna add a lot of salt and a lot of flavor. Super cheesy. So I'm gonna start with a little bit of Gouda and mix it in. And I'll add in some of the cheddar. There's a lot of secrets to good mac and cheese, and one of them is don't buy pre-grated cheese. Grate your own cheese. It has more moisture in it and makes it a little bit nicer. And add a little bit of Parmesan.
Smell the cheese.
Yeah, you can. You just have to have a little bit of salt and pepper. So as you can see here, our gator looks a little bit chicken-like. Okay, so we're gonna mix this up. And this is the pan that I've prepared that we're gonna pour it in to put it in the oven. The final step in this dish is we're gonna make our breadcrumbs. So we're gonna start with butter. Butter goes in, we're gonna melt it. This here is just white sandwich bread. And I put it through the food processor, and I'm gonna toast it up with, obviously with the butter. I've got some thyme and some Parmesan, and I'm gonna of course put a little bit of garlic powder. I toss in our breadcrumbs, just with some thyme. Some Parmesan. Again, a little bit more cheese. All right, guys, we're ready to dish up our mac and cheese to pop it in the oven. I've got some flat leaf Italian parsley. We're just gonna mix that in for some really nice color, okay? We'll mix it up, and then Anthony's gonna help me put it into here.
That is a serious pot of mac and cheese.
It is, this is a vat. Okay.
Like I always say, I wish this was smell-o-vision. We'd have the best ratings on TV.
The next thing we're gonna do, we've got some leftover Gouda and some old cheddar, and I'm just gonna sprinkle that on top for extra cheesy goodness. Put our breadcrumbs on top and pop it in the oven. Okay. Just about. All right, we're gonna get this out of the oven. Thank you.
Look at that cheese pull too, eh?
We gotta get a gator bite too.
Look at the cheese.
It's good.
The gator is, it's been tenderized by the seasoning and it's absolutely perfect. The breading just gives it another element, another texture. The shrimp, the cheese, I mean, this is the best mac and cheese, and I'm a guy who, like I said, I've eaten mac and cheese many times. It's one of my favorite dishes. This is the best mac and cheese I've ever had in my life. Well, thank you very much, guys. And thank you, Becky, for joining us once again and sharing with us some of your fantastic recipes. Be sure to join us next week for more exciting hunting action right here on Line of Sight.